last video I did was on avoiding cure-alls. Didn't get as many views, so just go back, have a look if you want to see it. Today is about what I find helps me. Music helps me focus. I like anything that has a fast beat, fast pace, and heavy beat. I find it helps if I'm driving around. It just helps me concentrate on the road a lot better. Timers and setting reminders. I find that if I set the timer to go off hours beforehand, I forget. So I try and set it off about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes beforehand, before it's needed. And then I have a separate timer to go off when it's needed. The first one is to remind me to do something. It gets it back into my mind. The second one is to tell me when it's happening, when it should actually be happening. Now, I do set up my reminders on my phone, and on the AI assistant, which I won't be saying because I'm not trying to promote them or anything, but they are useful. Some other ways to help would be the likes of having a proper sleep routine in place. Make sure that you are getting enough sleep for yourself. Now, that doesn't help with the insomniacs, but I'm sure there are ways of helping with that. Now, what I do is I give myself a bit of time at the end of the day. I go on, play video games, I might read, might have a look through the videos, whatever it is. And then after that, I go and I just go up to bed, and my medication helps me sleep. It's kind of, so it just works. And that is an important part of self-care as well, is to have the time at the end of the day for yourself, because it allows you to try and feel all everything that's been going on, gives you a review time. Next up is trying to have a balanced diet. This can be a bit hard, especially with people that have problems with certain foods and all that, but try and have at least all the proper proteins and all that in place. It does help boost your energy when it's needed. It helps with all that sort of stuff. Now, exercise is also good because it does release endorphins. So it is quite good. It gets you, and you also are being fit as well. You are being, so doing exercise is actually good for everyone. So just do that. What I mostly do is run around after my kids, but I still count it as exercise. Like, I'm running around, I might be driving, get them to various appointments and all that sort of stuff. That's still exercise. Now, personal hygiene. Try and work and get something in place. If you can't have a quick shower, just use a face cloth and give yourself a quick wipe to get rid of the daily dirt that's on you and all that sort of stuff, and just try and get something in place like that. Now, having an understanding partner helps a lot. It helps a lot more than people realize, especially because they know you and they can step in when they see that you are starting to act overwhelmed, overstimulated, if you aren't quite right, and they can help with that. They can step in and do some sort of relief, because this will give you a bit of peace of mind to allow yourself to go and ground yourself in peace. Now, speaking of grounding yourself, I don't mean just putting yourself in the timeout. I mean stepping out of the situation and doing some mindful work. I find that mindfulness work. I find that driving helps calm me down. 20-minute drive, just me, radio on, music playing. It helps me so much. So, that's really good. Another useful thing is meditating. Now, I'm not talking about emptying your mind or anything like that, because A lot of the time, I can't even do that. So, what I do is I light a candle and then stare at the flames, and I sort of just stare, sort of focus on the flames, and it allows my mind to wander. It gives me some time to actually do that. Now, I find that works for me because it's visual. There are other visual things that are out there. This one is the one that works for me. I also use a soundscape as well because it still allows my mind to wander. So it's just now another thing would be to give yourself a break. You. You've got. You're fine. You're just the way you are meant to be. Give yourself a break. You aren't going to be perfect. You aren't going to be anything like that. You are going to be you. And that is great. That is good enough. And the break also will allow you to feel your emotions and acknowledge them. Make sure that you know, okay, yes, I was feeling this way today. I felt this way. Gives yourself a bit of time to reflect back on that. Now, this does help a little bit with overwhelmness as well, because you're going, oh, why did I feel this way? Why did I feel that shame? This helps with that. Now, sometimes I do use a breathing exercise. This breathing exercise I do when I'm outside or I'm in the house. I'm not going to be going out with it. But what I do is I breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and then release it for 5 to 7 seconds. So like this. Hang on, try that again. And then release. I do that. And I do that about 4 to 5 times, depending on how I am. And then I see how I feel then. And then if I need to, I can repeat that and keep going till I don't feel it. I do the same thing for when I'm overstimulated as well, but I try and do it. I try and find a nice, quiet place, dark if possible, because light sensitivity and light does can be a part of being overstimulated. Another resource that is useful that I don't actually hear getting talked about enough is finding a local support group, someone in your area that does ADHD. Ireland has a load of them online. There's ADHD Ireland, stuff like that. So they are great when it comes to it. So try and find them. And they often will have their own ways of, the people there will have their own ways. And they share it with you. And then it's also a great resource in finding a reputable therapist in the area, because that's the next thing. Try and talk to your GP. They can help with organizing a psychiatrist to help with the medication if needed. And GPs also do blood work. They do blood tests. So they can do a test to see what your body is actually lacking. If it's a low iron count, what vitamins are missing, etc. And they can, between them and a chemist, they can recommend what the best supplements are. Always talk to a professional. Don't go online seeking this information, because they won't know what type of medication you're on already, and because a lot of supplements can actually interfere with medication, any other conditions you have. Doctors and chemists, mostly the doctors, would know what would be the best bet. That won't actually give you a reaction. Now, another thing would be when you're at your GP or any of those things, bring a friend with you. because they can act as another set of ears to hear when you're being overwhelmed with all this information. They can catch what you might not catch. They also help with body doubling. They can help you keep calm. They can help you with all that sort of stuff. That the good stuff that comes with body doubling. Now, last thing before I end the video is do not be afraid to be your own advocate. No one else will stand up for you. So you may have to do things. You may have to push for things. You may have to push for all the like any treatments that you need. Yeah, you might have to push for them. So do not be afraid to stand up for them, for yourself. Stand and actually go out for them. And thank you, and goodbye.